LP4, Miss Emmett here. Wednesday, we're looking at science in our literacy pack today, and we're going back to states of matter, which we touched on last week. We had a couple of fun exercises. I hope you came up with really cool lists. I've seen a few of them already, but looking forward to the rest of you having a list of gases, solids, and liquids. Now, we're just going to go in a little bit more detail about the characteristics of these three states of matter. So basically, what separates these states of matter. Now, that might seem pretty obvious to you and I in terms of what we can see and what we can touch, but it's interesting to think about what those differences really are. So first of all, let's have a look at solids. Solids do not flow or expand easily. What do I mean by that? Well, look at this mouse, for example. That's a mouse. It is solid. I can't really pour it from a cup into a cup. Yeah, it would basically fall from one cup into another, but wouldn't flow. It doesn't stretch out when I pour it around. I can't really pull it apart without breaking it. It is basically one single shape. Likewise, if you look further down, it does not compress easily. So again, for example, if I try squashing it together, it's still a solid. It's still the same shape. So I can't really squish it around. If I did, it would basically just break into pieces. So solids don't flow, you can't really press them, and they hold their own shape and volume. Another one, solid calculator. It is a calculator. I can't really pour it, or I can't really change it into a vase. I can't really change it into a ball without just busting the whole thing. So solids keep their shape and keep their volume. That means the space inside that shape stays the same. Now, you'll see mention of atoms underneath each of those statements. I don't want you to worry about those too much this week. We're going to look more at particles next week. Particles are bits and pieces that make up matter. But this week, let's just focus on the characteristics of states of matter. So in this case, solids don't flow, don't expand, can't squash them, and they keep their shape and volume. Moving right along. Gases. Gases, on the other hand, they flow very easily. Just blow into the air. That is gas coming out of your mouth, and it flows out very easily. In fact, you're literally making gas flow every time you breathe. So gas is flowing all around you. You move your hand around, you can feel the gas around your hand. Try that out, everyone. Move your hand backwards and forwards, and you'll be able to feel the air, feel the oxygen and the nitrogen moving around as you move your hand. I can feel it against my fingers. I can't see it, but I can feel it. And that's you moving gas around. I can make gas flow very easily. It can be compressed very easily. You can squash it into little spray cans. You can squash it into oxygen tanks. You can squash it between your hands, just like that. Now, most of the gas flowed out, but I'm basically squashing gas. If I tried doing that with the calculator, I can't. I can't compress it. Whereas the gas, no worries, bang. Now, if I couldn't compress it, it would stop my hands. But I can. And that's because gases are easily compressed. And it can take the shape of the container they're in. What do I mean by that? So basically, if I've got a glass, I don't have a glass here at the moment, but if I had a glass, the gas would fill it up. Have a look at the room you're sitting in right now. That room is filled with gas. You're breathing it. And the gas has filled up that space completely. So it takes the shape of the container it's inside. Doesn't matter if it's a cup or a tank or a can or a whole room, or in fact, the whole world. The world is, in a way, a container for gas. And moving along to liquids. Now, liquids can flow easily, a little bit like gas. We can see it when we pour water from one cup into another, or a bottle into a cup. We can see it flowing out. It stretches as it does so. We can't compress it very easily, though. So, for example, if I tried to squash water, it flows out. Likewise, if I got my hands and tried to squash water down in a bath, my hands would just push into the water. I can't really squash the water itself. So it doesn't squash very easily, a bit like solids. Solids don't squash very easily. Water doesn't squash very easily, or liquids, I should say, don't squash it very easily. However, just like gas, they do take the shape of the containers they're in. So liquid by itself doesn't have its own shape. You've got to pour it into a cup or pour it into a bottle, and it will take the shape of whatever it's pressed inside. So there's some characteristics that separate solids, gases, and liquids. And I'll put those three slides up on Seesaw so you can have a look at it in your own time. Which moves us on to the homework. So, whoa, that's me skipping ahead of the homework. Let's start at the beginning. First exercise is reasonably easy. Gases, liquids, and solids. You've got a picture with 3 items that are all closely related. So in this case, a kettle, some steam coming from some water, some hot water, and a cup of water. Moving down, here's another 3 items that are very similar. Balloon with some hot air inside. I might have given you a clue there. And a cloud and some rain. Now, what you need to do is label each one as a gas, a liquid, and a solid. That's all you need to do. So gas, liquid, or solid in those 3 boxes. And there's another one, another 3 boxes, gas, liquid, or solid. And there you go again. So you're just separating them into the gas, liquid, or solid states of matter. Moving down a bit. Now you've got a fact here. If you fill a large container with custard powder mixed with water, you will find that you can walk across it to the other side. So even though the custard is basically a liquid, it acts sometimes a little bit like a solid, so it can get a bit confusing sometimes. But most of the time, they stick to those rules that we discussed earlier with those 3 different colour slides. Liquids can flow, solids can be picked up, and a gas is something you can't see or smell, like oxygen, but it's certainly there. So you've got a whole bunch of words here. I need you to sort them into a table of solids, liquids, and gases. So have a look at each one. And if there are some that are sort of in between, just do your best. Guesses, as long as you've got a good guess there, that's all I need there. But they should be pretty clear in terms of which ones are solids, which ones are gases, and which ones are liquids. All right, and moving down to the bottom, a bit of a game at the end there. Now, if you can't print it out or you have trouble doing this particular game, don't worry, just do the best you can, or if you can't do it, just let me know, that's fine. In this case, you've got a little mouse, and the mouse wants to get down to the cheese. See the cheese there at the bottom? It wants to get there. Now, the mouse can only travel along yellow boxes, I believe. Yes, okay, so the mouse can only travel along yellow boxes to get to the cheese. As you can see, there's no colour on the boxes at all at the moment. So what you need to do is have a look at each box and colour it in the colour that belongs to its state of matter. So colour the squares about liquids red. So, for example, that drop looks a bit like a liquid to me. I'd colour that box red. And I'd go through the rest of the boxes to see if there are any more red boxes there about liquids. Squares about gases, for example, the box that says, gas, you need to colour green. So colour that one green. And lucky last, all the squares about solids, you need to colour yellow. So, for example, the box that says solid, colour yellow. But have a look at all the other boxes as well and colour them into the 3 different colours. From there, you can map the mouse along all the yellow boxes down towards the piece of cheese. So do your best. All the different boxes should have different colours. Now, if some of those boxes don't make much sense yet, don't worry. Give it a skip. You can certainly ask me any questions if you are confused about them, because there's a couple of boxes there we haven't really covered yet. These ones in particular, the ones with all the little balls there, they're more to do with particles. If you want to get a head start on next week, some week, you can have a look at what particles do in different states of matter. But certainly, if you need help with those, let me know. We're going to look at particles more next week and how they act in different states of matter. But see how you go with this game. And if you don't finish this game this week, don't worry. You might want to finish it next week when we get a little bit more information about particles as well. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. So I hope that's reasonably clear. Again, don't worry too much about that last game at the end. Give it a shot, but if you can't finish it, either ask me questions or leave it for next week. Otherwise, the other 2 things should be pretty easy for you to get through. And, look forward to next week's homework as well.